How might digital technology contribute to fostering inclusion in primary education? Chris Abbott says that inclusion is the entitlement of all young people to the same standard of education. This definition links in with the national curriculum, which says that teachers should take account of their duties under equal opportunities legislation that covers disability, race, religion or belief, and sexual orientation. Nothing should come in the way of any children's learning. Things that do come in the way are considered barriers to learning. The national curriculum goes on to say that lessons should be planned to ensure that there are no barriers to every pupil achieving. Teachers should aim to create an inclusive classroom. This is a learning environment where everyone can achieve their potential. Digital technology is often used to minimise these barriers to learning in the primary classroom. Digital technology is the use of ICT. ICT doesn't just include the use of computers, but the use of anything technological, for example, bebots and tablets. Selwyn, Potter and Cranmer give examples of what types of contemporary technology can be used in the primary classroom, for example, interactive whiteboards, tablets and MP3s. In my first year placement, every child had access to iPads. The benefits of the children having access to such technology were very obvious, especially for the children who had English as an additional language. One child had recently moved to the country and was just learning English. He struggled to write in English, but he could speak some, so the school downloaded a speech-to-text app. This was a very useful tool. It meant he could talk into the tablet and it would type out what he was saying. Harold Peschler et al. Says that some students will learn through play, others will learn through reading, some will even learn through talk. Not all children learn the same way. It's the teacher's job to understand every child in the classroom and understand who they are, what they like, what they don't like and what interests them. Digital technology is useful in the primary classroom as it will help with nearly all types of learning styles. Earlier, I mentioned the use of speech-to-text as a tool to aid children with English as an additional language. Sally McCowan and Angela McGlashan talk about the idea of text-to-speech apps, for example, Captura Talk. These apps are ideal for children who have dyslexia. They are very simple to use. All the children have to do is point their tablet at some text, take a picture, and they will be able to hear the words. Although it is important for children who struggle with reading to still practice their reading and especially their decoding, they will also benefit from these kind of apps as they reduce their barriers to learning whilst they are improving their reading. After all, Bechter 2003 states that one of the benefits digital technology offers children is that it unlocks hidden potential for those with communication difficulties. Children with special educational needs or English as an additional language could change the accessibility when using an iPad, for example, adding subtitles or making the text bigger. This is perfect as it is a teacher's aim to make learning more accessible for children. Lanny Florian says that for many people with disabilities, technology can serve as a kind cognitive prosthesis to overcome or compensate for differences among learners. This idea has important implications for learners with disabilities and special educational needs because it suggests that technology can help create the conditions for equal opportunity to learn and equal access to the curriculum for all. My second year placement was spent in an SEN school. Not one of the children in my class could verbally communicate, but they would communicate by using a switch. The switch was a very useful tool. In morning circle time, the children would be able to say good morning by pressing the switch. The switch would also help with their cognitive development as they would be able to make choices by pressing the switch. Moving on from the switch, Makey Makey is an invention kit which involves using absolutely anything instead of a keyboard. It makes pushing the buttons easier for children. They could use a banana, a Play-Doh, absolutely anything. This makes learning more accessible, more creative, more fun and more engaging for the children. To conclude, if digital technology is used in the right way, it can contribute to fostering inclusion in the primary classroom. In my future practice, I will look into all the appropriate types of digital technology that will aid those children with English as an additional language and special educational needs.